to keep America safe, no matter what change the Republican convention focuses on this week. He actually said, and I quote, that we're going to have unbelievable intelligence, just before he again threatened to undermine our alliance with NATO. Well, we're here to tell you that what Donald Trump says on national security is in fact not believable at all, and it's dangerous. But 60 Minutes isn't the only troubling example. Americans deserve better than a reckless president who would ban an entire religion from entering our country. Donald Trump has proposed banning Muslims from entering the United States and toyed with the idea of creating a national database to track all Muslims. Not only are these plans un-American, but experts agree that they would play right into terrorists' hands. And Trump's running mate also supports that same ban on Muslims. I served in the House with Mike Pence, and he should not let the politics exterior fool you. He is as extreme as they come. We know that Americans deserve better than a president who constructs his foreign policy based on his admiration for supporting dictators. We all know about Trump cozying up to Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, who he said should get an A for leadership. Trump said we need to give credit to North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, praising him for wiping out his uncle and calling it incredible how he took power. Americans deserve better than a president whose key decisions are determined by what moves he says. During this campaign, we have all seen on full display how egotistical and thin-skinned Donald Trump really is. Trump is the guy who said he didn't have to listen to military and foreign policy experts because he has a very good brain. And Trump said this, and I quote, "I know more about ISIS than the generals do, believe me. We are better than this. We need a president who will bring us together, not tear us apart. We need a president who is fit to lead on day one and every day after, not one whose ego is bigger than Trump's tabloid-derived base of knowledge." And with that, I'd like to introduce my colleague in turn.
Thank you, David. For me, it's extremely important to be out here to also have the voice of veterans and those that serve overseas in harm's way for our country, especially considering that we are dealing with a choice right now that only causes more danger to our country. Trump may be the first candidate that I've ever seen that treats our enemies like allies and our allies like enemies. When you start talking about the relationship, destroying a relationship that NATO has existed now through 2 centuries, and clearly just trying to dismiss what we know of, it puts many of us that really worry about foreign security into a very frenzied state. But even other areas, things that we consider extremely insulting. As an Arizonan, somebody who had the pleasure of serving with Senator John McCain, to have the gall to say that he prefers prison boards that weren't captured. The gall to say that when Donald Trump avoided the draft and compared his personal escapades in the 1970s, 1980s as his personal Vietnam, just shows you that this man is not serious. And even that may be forgivable if he actually understood anything about the veterans community. Has zero concept of modern veterans legislation, such as the GI Bill, has said that you would likely revoke that, and then asked again if you not quite understand what the GI Bill. Talks about how great he is for military members, but his company fired reservists while they were serving overseas and serving their governments. And when talking about loving veterans, for many years, he had a many-decade campaign to remove disabled veterans from selling merchandise in front of his properties, calling them deplorable and like a flea market. This is bad enough, but his plans for the VA, which largely center around privatization, should scare any veteran. This man has zero concept of most policies. It is largely based on bravado and feelings. But when you're dealing with a massive organization where millions of lives are at stake, to just willy-nilly decide what programs will go and not go should make all veterans very worried. Now I'd like to introduce former Governor Ted Strickland. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Welcome to Cleveland, Ohio. Hope you have a great week. I am happy to be here with the Congresswoman, the chair of the DNC, as well as the Congressman, to talk with you seriously about what we're facing. Let me begin by talking as an Ohioan. In Ohio that's proud of Cleveland, proud of my state. And quite frankly, right now, proud of my governor. You all know that Governor Kasich and I ran against each other. He defeated me, so he's not my best personal friend in all the world. But I can say that I admire his integrity in making the decision that he has made to avoid giving Donald Trump his endorsement to be the president of this country. And most other prominent Republican figures in Ohio are also keeping an arm's length from Donald Trump. Even my opponent in the Senate race, although he has embraced him, says that he's going to spend very little time at the convention. And so I just want to point that out to you because I think Governor Kasich and the other Republicans are putting country over party. And I think it's a reflection of their patriotism that they understand that Donald Trump is unfit to be the commander-in-chief of our nation. And I just want to say to you that I think, as the Congresswoman has said and the Congressgentleman has said, that Donald Trump would be a dangerous and a divisive commander-in-chief. He has a tendency to sow division and discord rather than trying to pull people together and get them to work together as patriotic Americans. He is an unpredictable kind of fellow. We can't know from one day to the next what his position may be on any particular issue. The problem with Donald Trump is he seems not to even have the ability to tell us what he would plan to do if he were the president, and especially how he would function as the commander-in-chief. What he has said about NATO is alarming. What he has said about the possibility of using nuclear weapons in Europe is alarming. What he has said about the possibility of Japan and South Korea becoming nuclear nations is alarming, as the Congresswoman has said. What he has said in regard to Vladimir Putin, a man that I would consider basically a KGB thug, he has boasted about his strength of leadership. So these are things that Donald Trump has said himself. We are not putting words in his mouth, Congresswoman. We are simply sharing with you some of the things that he has said. So we are here to call attention to the fact that Donald Trump is unfit and unprepared through experience and through temperament to be a commander-in-chief. And we want to call that to the attention of this nation because these are perilous times. The perilous times, we have challenges domestically. We all understand that. The Congresswoman has rightfully mentioned what's happened most recently in Baton Rouge and elsewhere. But these are perilous times in terms of foreign relations. And we need a commander-in-chief that has the maturity, the experience, the intelligence, and the capacity to be a strong leader in difficult times. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the back. We're going to call on you because that's what you are now.
Jerry Holmes, Wonderful.com. What's one of your latest fundraising restrictions? Why do you think that his fundraising numbers are so far behind that drop?
Can I answer that?
Sure.
We're talking about that.
And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have of a local nature. After this is over, I'd like us to focus on the broader theme. But Jeremy, just let me say to you that approximately $32 million has been spent against me, and most of it is coming from the Koch brothers, by the way, the drug cohorts. My answer to you is this: they can buy TV ads for my opponent. They can't buy me. That's what I'm
Congresswoman, a lot of what you said, I'm sorry, Francesca Chambers, DailyMail.com. A lot of what you said today isn't new about Donald Trump. It's things that we know that he said. And a 5-poll average, for instance, of Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump here in Ohio has her less than 2 points ahead of him. And I'm wondering what your the plan is to try and, you know, bring the numbers up, and what you think you'll accomplish by telling people things that they already know about Donald Trump at this point.
Well, it's a good question, and I'm happy to answer it. After these two conventions, when the Republican convention here in Cleveland, the extremism and divisiveness, bigotry, racism, and total lack of preparation that Donald Trump represents is on full display. Then we go to Philadelphia, in which we will be nominating the most qualified person in modern times to run for president, perhaps along with former President George W. Bush. The contrast will be very clear in terms of how we are going to build on the success that we had under President Obama, where we've gone from the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression caused by Republicans, whose economic policies focused on the wealthiest, most fortunate Americans, and left the middle class behind, and left people who wanted to join the middle class behind, to 75 straight months of job growth in the private sector, 20 million people who now have health insurance that didn't have it before, cutting our deficit by nearly 3/4, and many other measures of our economic progress. So the contrast in the next 2 weeks is going to be very clear. Coming out of our convention, I think we will continue to build on the momentum that Hillary Clinton and Democrats all across this country now have. And because Donald Trump just can't help himself, he will, I'm 100% certain, continue to say the outlandish, extreme, nonsensical comments that he made in his interview and that he made throughout this campaign. And lastly, I just feel confident that Americans are better than choosing to elect a president who would ban entire religion from the country, who at the opening bell of his campaign declared Mexicans rapists and drug dealers, has suggested that we should solve our immigration problem by building a wall with Mexico and deporting 11 million people. The list just goes on, and we're here to say that we are better than this, and we're confident that through out-organizing, out-mobilizing, and making sure that the contract is clear, Hillary Clinton will be elected president.
And I know the polls are very close, but you know, the real poll that we're going to talk about is politicians voting here. They smell blood in the water. In their own home state, they're voting the convention, which tells you that they know what direction the voters of Ohio are going to be going. So if I had a convention in my state, I would gladly be attending because I know that where my state is going, or at least I know that the person that has a ticket is not going to cost them politically. Clearly, Ohio Republicans have decided that Trump is going to cost them politically, and they're avoiding it. So despite what the polls are saying, there's a direction here, and they feel it.
By the way, it's not just Ohio Republicans. I'm the only federal official from South Florida here in Cleveland. All three of my Republican colleagues from South Florida have chosen not to.
Alex Bolton with the bill. How much of an impact, can you quantify the impact that Trump is going to have on the battle for control of the Senate, and what's your most optimistic scenario for having Democrats pick up in the Senate race?
Well, the DSCC has done a fantastic job at recruiting top-notch Democratic candidates for the seats that we know we have an opportunity to pick up all across this country. And we expect that because of the way the map looks this time, the contrast, the divisiveness, the fact that we have so many Republicans who, although some have chosen not to come to the convention, many Republicans have embraced or simply can't run from Donald Trump's record and his rhetoric. So we are going to very closely tie and have been closely tying these candidates, whether it's incumbent senators or candidates that Donald Trump's record of extremism, divisiveness, and racism, and we expect those coattails to be
So how many seats are we looking at? 5, 6?
It's July. We're not in the prediction business. We expect that we will take the majority of the United States.
Obviously, only the season of the meetings. Does it say negative things about your candidate that Donald Trump has said all these outrageous, sensitive things that he said in yet they're still polling everything with each other?
Number one, in July, the polling certainly means less. I mean, I've said this right along through the whole campaign. It is very difficult to look at polling right now because until the conventions are over, until you really get into the fall campaign and voters are really starting to focus, and you can really get the polls aren't really an accurate measurement. But I mean, if you look at the state by state polling, which is, I mean, national polling also, as you know, doesn't mean anything when it comes to presidential election, because that's not how the presidential election is decided. So if you look at the state by state polling, you know, Hillary Clinton is doing very well in the key battleground states that are going to ensure that she earns 270 electoral votes.
Congressman, can I follow up on that question? Scott Light from the CBS station in Columbus. Quotes that you mentioned about Trump, he certainly got his share of media coverage on things that he said. So why is it that on the subject of honesty and trustworthiness, he leads Hillary Clinton anywhere from 2 to 10 points?
I'm not sure what polls you're referring to, but Hillary Clinton, in terms of credibility and confidence that voters have in who they want to make sure is President of the United States, that can build on the record of success that we've had under President Obama, that can help people reach the middle class. Those are the kinds of indicators that will be what voters make decisions on. The American people want a president who, like Hillary Clinton will be, who will make sure that we can continue to add people to the healthcare rolls and ensure that healthcare is a right, not a privilege. That we can continue to make sure that people have the ability to reach the middle class, whether it's having a roof over their head that they can rely on, or a good education that they can afford and it doesn't bankrupt them through adulthood. That they can make sure that they have retirement security. And Donald Trump is not someone that can be relied upon to make sure that the retirement safety net, that is Social Security and Medicare, isn't going to be cut so full of holes that people won't fall through it. So those are the decisions that voters will be making that will be using to make a decision about their choice.
So are voters who do say that he's honest and trustworthy, are they getting fooled? Because there are millions who believe that he is.
As I said, if you look in stringing together these two questions, looking at the polling state by state, which is how the presidential election will be conducted, Hillary Clinton is doing extremely well, and we are in a strong place, not only based on polls, which, like I said in July, are not something that you can really focus on as clearly, but we are very clearly out organizing and out mobilizing the Republicans. Their ground game is very far behind. In key battleground states, we have more staff all across Ohio and Florida and Pennsylvania and other key states. The Republicans are extremely far behind. There is panic setting in. So we continue to out-organize, out-mobilize the Republicans. We continue, our candidate Hillary Clinton continues to out-poll in key battleground states, which will determine the outcome of this election. And when it comes to the decisions that drive voters' choice, Hillary Clinton is clearly at a significant advantage to Donald Trump.
Can I say something
Yeah.
that's already been said, but I think it needs to be emphasized. The Republican leadership in Ohio is sending a message. If they thought that Donald Trump was going to do well in Ohio, they wouldn't be avoiding it. If my opponent for the Senate thought Donald Trump was going to do well in Ohio, he would be publicly embracing him, and he would be showing up at this convention. He's having his own mini convention outside the convention hall. And so I think the Republican leadership is sending you a message that's fairly compelling. They think Donald Trump's not going to do well in Ohio. I have no trouble associating myself with my party's candidate. I'm going to be in Philly, and I'm going to be enthusiastic about what we're doing in Philly. But the people that are here in Cleveland have come from all over the country, I grant you. But here in the swing state of Ohio, the Republican leadership is avoiding Donald Trump. That ought to be a compelling message regarding what they think is going to happen in November.
I have a question for Congressman Gallego.
Tell me your name and your outfit.
I am David Moreno Jr. of Cronkite News, Arizona PBS. And
You guys stop me everywhere.
make good news. You made the comment about how what Donald Trump said about Senator McCain in Arizona. Recent polling has shown that it's been a little bit back and forth, but it does look like Trump is leading Clinton in Arizona. But do you believe that Hillary Clinton could win in Arizona for the first time, Democrat in 1996?
I believe the scenario that is being set up is possible. This is one of the most alienating Republican candidates that we've ever seen in Arizona. And mind you, we've had Governor Janker and Sheriff Arpaio on the ballot at the same time. The motivation also in terms of just getting young Latinos to vote, which tend to be about could be upwards of 18 to 20% of the electorate, and if they vote at a very strong propensity for the Democratic ticket, we do believe could put this in play. And to add, we do have a very moderate street too. There's a lot of moderate Republican conservatives that are running away from Donald Trump, much like you see many other Republicans, elected officials across the country are running away from Donald Trump, and they're going to be reflective of a lot of voters. So we think that the combination of increasing Latino participation, women voters realizing this is the most misogynistic ticket ever in the history of the GOP, which is saying a lot, and turnout decreasing among moderate Republicans could put us in play.
We have time for just a couple more.
Congresswoman Amy Chow with Ohio Public Radio. What are we going to see in Philadelphia at your convention that we're not going to see here?
Well, you're going to see a full-throated embrace of our party's leaders, of our candidates, including from Senator Sanders, and you're going to see us continue to use our convention platforms to focus on voter mobilization. We're going to have trainings going on all across the convention, make sure our activists are getting the kind of information in terms of messaging and organizing and opportunities that they can take advantage of following the convention. That's going to be a critical piece of our convention. And then on the podium, you'll see a huge, diverse variety of our party's leaders and activists and working folks who are going to talk about our candidates and our party's vision to help people move forward, that they can reach the middle class, that they can do even better than they are today. Contrast that with what I think will be an extreme and divisive message that will have to completely be lacking in diversity from the Republican vote. And last one.
From Tribune de Genève. Coming back to Make America Safe Again, in the aftermath of the Baton Rouge shooting, are you concerned Donald Trump might be able to rally or unite the Republican Party behind this notion of security, especially after what the police union had said about President Obama, saying he had blood on his hand? Do you worry about this?
Let me take this. To begin with, you do not make America safe again, both here and abroad, by tearing people apart and making people feel like they are the other. For me, I find it personally insulting. Also, I served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq. That's extremely diverse. We're very proud of what we did. Based here out of Ohio, Lima 325. We have a great legendary history and fighting history. And while we were there, we had the honor of serving many Muslim Americans that were raised here in Ohio. When I hear Donald Trump saying that we need to treat these men and women as the other, as potential enemies, that's not making us safe. As a matter of fact, it's making us less safe. And when it comes to domestic policy, and he throws rhetorical bombs out there that tears apart our communities instead of trying to heal our communities, it shows that he is more interested in trying to win the election than trying to lead the nation. I think at the end of the day, Americans believe in working together, in trying to find commonality and trying to find a way to live in peace here in the United States. And they're not going to rally around this type of hateful messaging that Donald Trump is using.
Thank you. And lastly, I'll just add one more thing that you'll see on our stage in Philadelphia that you won't see in Cleveland this week, and that is that our party is going to nominate the first woman candidate of the major party, and the individual who will be the first woman elected president. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.
I just have a quick question. Did you see the recent contact you did?
No, I did.
You did? What did you think of it?
I said no, I did.
I did.
Thank you.